Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Our parsha this Shabbat is Behar. Sometimes it's actually a double portion. We get two parshiot in one. In it, we get commands on the importance of rest. Do you feel a little bit more rested? No. Well, we had a nice leisurely dinner, and we turned at our table to say, we have all this time. And then before you know it, it's a mad dash to get up here and do Shabbat. It doesn't matter how much time you have. You always want more time. And that's true about life. No matter how much time we have, especially when we get close to the end, we want more time. And we look back and we see how fast it all goes by. Do you ever feel like that? So in this parsha, we're meant to realize that not only must we rest, but the land itself must rest. There's a sabbatical year and a jubilee year. The jubilee year happens in the 50th year. So some people actually, instead of 60 as a big birthday, do 50. And it is a time of release and freedom in that 50th year. The sabbatical year comes every 7 years. So if a piece of land, property, is lost due to misfortune, so let's say someone couldn't pay and they seized that land and they took it away, it must actually be returned in the Jubilee year to that owner. And slaves that you have are set free. So imagine, we're talking about release, freedom. We all know that this year is coming. In addition to this, rules about how we treat family fairly is discussed. God commands that a brother in trouble, this could also be a sister nowadays, but someone who is a family member in trouble must be treated fairly and with a respect that preserves their dignity. So now those of you with siblings, I was an only child, but I watched two kids that I had that were siblings. So do you think about your dealings? Do you feel like there are moments when it has not been fair on either side? You know, maybe how you treated them, how they treated you. So in our parsha, we are meant to think about this. And it comes during that time between Passover and Shavuot, when we're counting the Omer, and we're supposed to think about what we need to do to redeem ourselves and to evolve ourselves. The Torah is filled with stories of sibling rivalry. Some of them in these tribes had a moment. Joseph, what happened to him? Yes, thrown in a pit by some of those other ones. Yes. So my son calls me this morning. He's like, I'm reading the story of Joseph. Of course, that's his middle name. I'm like, you can connect to Joseph. And also Zechariah, you're Zechariah, the prophet. So, we have this all around us in this Torah and all around us. And so it's very interesting that we're commanded to take care of our brother and sister in a way that promotes dignity and respect, but at the same time, we have all this text in the Torah that talks about quite the opposite. Depends on what book you're in. So the whole living document of it that's lasted over 5,000 years is meant to inform us we still have work to do on ourselves and on our relationships. A lot of the text also pertains to financial dealings, as we've said, with both land and relationships. So the idea of respect, honor, preserving dignity, all of this comes up over and over and over again. Why? We are meant to be accountable, not only to each other, but even to our land. We are meant to prepare, we're meant to think ahead, and we're meant to honor and respect with dignity and think about the times when we maybe need to have a little bit of rest. We need to have faith that if we know that we won't do anything to tend to our land every 7th year, that we will be provided for. That means you won't plant crops, you won't reap crops, you're just going to do nothing for that year. And we're talking about a time when, Joseph helped the Pharaoh because there were famines and there were all kinds of problems. So you have to have faith that this, that you're going to be provided for. We have to have faith in our own ability to work hard, prepare, and save for that time that is surely coming. Sound familiar to anybody? Especially right now. We have to be proactive, but we also have to be willing to let go when the time comes to rest. This is true for Shabbat, the sabbatical year, and even the Jubilee year, when the slaves and the land procured from distress are to be released and set free, and all encumbrances are null and void. Kind of hard to believe. Don't we wish that we got a mortgage on this building and in 50 years it was given back to us? We're going to pay ours off, though, long before 50 years. Anyway, in ancient times, if you were a slave owner, it would take a lot of faith to do this, knowing that work still needs to be done, crops are going to need to be tended to, the land that you enjoyed may actually no longer be yours. Kabbalist Karen Berg says of this parsha, in the portion of Behar, the Creator teaches the Israelites that for His light to enter their lives, they must be willing to let go and create such a space. The Creator speaks to Moses, telling him to impart to the Israelites the power of doing less and receiving more. The Creator asks us too this week to step out of the way and create an opening for His light to enter our lives, thus giving us more than we could ever create on our own. Through this process, we become emboldened to know the Creator and allow this beautiful, powerful energy to change our lives, to transform us and the lives of those we love and our world for the better. Let the Creator's hand into your life by taking your hand off the wheel. Create space, allowing the light to enter, giving you all that you need. How many are really willing to let go, turn off, and just be? It's not so easy, is it? And that's really what Shabbat is all about. We have the ability to manifest light or to dwell in the darkness. The choice is ours. Do you know anyone who creates a lot of negativity all the time? And then when you're around them, sometimes that schmutz gets on you. So we have to be willing to surround ourselves with positivity. When negative, doubtful thoughts come into your own being, push them away, acknowledge them, but then turn to the light, turn to something positive. When we have faith in our Creator, or even faith in ourselves, we create the space for all that light to dwell, to fill up our vessel, and to be willing to truly accept and receive times of rest. It takes faith to be willing to let go, let God, to be willing to release that which we are hanging so tightly onto, and to be willing to accept that we have a responsibility for one another to prepare for the future, knowing that at some point we will need to release and be set free. How many times have you tried to truly rest, even fall asleep, when your mind is spinning and spinning and you're saying to yourself, I gotta go to sleep, gotta go to sleep, looking at the clock and it's just ticking away? We need to stop that tape, and we need to breathe, and we need to just try to go with it. Our Judaic structure is very mindful of time. Our seasons and our lives are guided by it. Yet, we are commanded to refresh, to rest and renew, and then we are also commanded to give back. So we replenish ourselves, we give even our land a rest, but then we fortify and we go forward, and hopefully with that renewal, we can give more and be more. So by doing less, we will receive more. As you go through this Shabbat, think about ways in which you can foster, create times of rest, where you can really let go and enjoy the harvest of your labors. Also think about those and things you might hold on to that need to be set free, even situations, especially at this time of Mercury retrograde and the counting of the Omer. So may you have a Shabbat of rest, renewal, and may you do less and receive more. Shabbat Shalom.